Hello and welcome back everyone to another exciting episode of ToucanPlays. And guys, this last weekend was the Monster Jam World Finals in Los Angeles. And I am so stoked about it because not only was it an epic show that I got to watch with you guys on Discord, but we also got a new Showdown trailer drop, a Fortnite Monster Jam crossover event, and then on Monday, Milestone released a brand new press release and a whole slew of screenshots that I just cannot wait to share with you. So without further ado, let's get to the breakdown. Okay, so right out of the gate, we see this new stadium, and guys, it looks so much better than the Colorado Stadium from the last breakdown video that I did. There are lots of varied obstacles to hit, and the space is utilized so much better. In fact, there is very little wide open space at all. I really like this layout. In the center, we can see 8 trucks lined up, including 2 that we haven't seen in action yet, Dragon and Higher Education. Then we have Thunderosaurus, Megalodon, Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Lucas Stabilizer, and Earthshaker. Even though this clip is just a few seconds long, it really made me feel so much better about the venues that we're going to be seeing in Showdown. The new press release actually says that stadiums are based on real venues. I'm not actually sure which venue this is supposed to be, but I'm sure somebody out there knows. Wagner, looking at you. So leave a comment, let me know, what is this stadium if you know it. My only real nitpicky complaint is that the trucks do appear to be a little bit too small for the venue, making them appear to be die-cast or RC cars, which really, it's just the same complaint that I've had all along, is that the venues look too big for the size of the trucks. They just need to work on their scaling a little bit. Ironically, the video then cuts to the caption, "Get ready to go big," as it showcases some of the trucks in the lineup, which also happen to be the same trucks that are showcased throughout this trailer. We then cut to Gravedigger performing a sick bicycle in this stadium. And the only thing I can really pull away from this is just how superior the graphics look. The chassis is very well detailed and accurate for as far as that I can tell. More on the chassis and graphics details a little bit later. Then we get a quick shot of Earthshaker doing some donuts on the Alaska map. We see some snow falling and some ice chunks in the background that I assume are the destructible objects for the Alaska environment. We also see a little bit of lens flare in the camera, which I'm assuming is a filter that they added while they were editing the video, because it actually continues on to the next clip of Lucas Stabilizer doing a really cool moonwalk. Now, I've heard some positive and negative comments about this clip because, as we can see, after the moonwalk, the truck moves forward a little bit into a nose wheelie, and it seems like it should have fallen down back onto all 4 BKT tires. Okay, now I'm not too terribly concerned about this, honestly, because the clip is just so short, we don't actually get to see what happens when the truck moves forward. This clip is just too short to see what happens as it continues, and we don't know, maybe the stoppie actually did end and it fell to the ground. We're not sure. I am actually relieved to see that the suspension is moving realistically as the brakes are applied, plus it's just a cool moonwalk. In the background, you can see some targets being held up in the air by drones and what appears to be an obstacle course down in this really small valley behind Lucas Stabilizer. Then in the very beginning of the clip, we actually get to see these interesting structures that look like some sort of a gate, maybe a finish line, or maybe it's just some more Destructibles, who knows. Either way, this environment is definitely not an arena or a race. I'm not exactly sure what this game mode is, but it does look like it's somewhat of an open world, which, to be honest, is really exciting because we haven't heard anything about an open world up to this point. Moving on, we get a quick clip of El Toro Loco hitting a ramp, and then we cut to the familiar Alaska circuit track, this time with Dragon front and center, and we do get to see the iconic flame spitter ready to shoot out some fire. And then we see Gravedigger splash some water at the camera, giving us a nice transition to the Colorado circuit race where a storm is raging on. This is actually the first time that we've seen weather effects in the game, and it's got me wondering, are the weather effects customizable or are they track specific? Is this track always going to be stormy, or can I add stormy weather to other tracks? Personally, I hope that it is customizable because, I mean, how cool would it be to have snowy weather in Death Valley? Or maybe some thunder snow in Alaska. That would be kind of cool. The official word from the new press release is, thanks to the boost, destructible objects, crazy track designs, and extreme weather conditions, players will experience unpredictable scenarios. So I guess we'll see. We do see a cool camera effect with the rain droplets on the screen, and this is actually something we've seen before in the Ryan Anderson video after splashing into a puddle. Personally, I think it's a nice touch, and it might be a way actually to cheese some PvP in multiplayer split screens. I'm thinking Smash Bros. Objects coming flying at you at the screen. We cut to higher education, arriving at a ramp just in time to see Gravedigger smash into another high-flying obstacle, and at this point, honestly, things remind me so much of Mario Kart, I have to wonder if the Destructibles give a speed boost, or maybe they add to your boost meter, or some other kind of power-up, who knows? I don't know, there just has to be a reason to put so much emphasis on these destructible objects. Okay, one more really quick observation with this, and listen guys, I am really going over this with a fine-tooth comb, and maybe I shouldn't be, but as Gravedigger smashes into this flying destructible, you can see that it actually causes damage to the roof of the body, and it goes flying up, giving a Gravedigger kind of a mohawk. Again, this is such a nitpicky thing, but if these destructibles are meant to be smashed, they really shouldn't be doing damage to the truck. At least I don't think so, because that gives the wrong feedback to the player, thinking maybe I shouldn't be hitting these things. It causes damage to my truck, right? All right, after a really cool transition shot of Earthshaker silhouetted by lightning and smashing up another flying destructible, we see Thunderosaurus with a mohawk of his own come flying off a ramp in the Death Valley circuit that we've already seen. He meets up with Dragon and we're treated to some split screen multiplayer action. The press release states split screen will enable thrilling duels with family and friends, whereas a number of online only events will grant dramatic challenges. Still no official word on cross-platform compatibility though. Milestone, if you're listening, you must make this happen. This is a non-negotiable. If you don't make crossplay available, you may as well not even have these online modes because the servers are going to be just as dead as they are for Steel Titans 2 right now. If you think about it, guys, with PC alone, we've got 3 distributors for the game: Steam, Epic Games, and Microsoft. None of them want to play well together, and while I'm super excited about the game, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy 5 different copies so I can play with my friends who prefer 5 different consoles to play on. So Milestone, please, I'm begging you, don't let your super cool multiplayer concepts wither on the vine. Make cross-play happen. Okay, enough of that. After a quick transition, we see Megalodon and Lucas Stabilizer compete in what appears to be a head-to-head race, which I have to say, for the 2 seconds we actually get to see it, it looks like it's going to be pretty epic. Another quick cut to Colorado, and the environment here looks so much better than it did in the Ryan Anderson video. We see some more battle damage on Thunderosaurus, and a mystery truck up in the top right corner. I'm pretty sure it's just a banged up El Toro Loco, but hey, I'm not positive. If you've got a better idea, leave a comment and let me know what your guess is. Finally, we get a cut to another battle damaged Gravedigger as he slides across the screen, and we cut to the end screen. Listen guys, this trailer was another adrenaline-fueled ride filled with excitement that got me super pumped to play the game. It relieved some of my fears, but I would really like to see gameplay that's longer than 3 seconds. I'd also really like to have more info on some of the new game modes like Horde and Survival, and of course, the status of multiplayer. All right, in other exciting news, guys, at World Finals, we saw the unveiling of the Fortnite truck. According to Tyler Oldfield, a student at Monster Jam University and major supporter of the channel, he was able to get up close and personal with the Fortnite truck at World Finals. He did mention to me that the truck body was just kind of roughly attached to the stunt truck chassis, which is why it kind of fell off so easily during the stunt. Tyler mentioned that there is talk about the Fortnite truck returning later in the year on a somewhat more permanent chassis, but as far as I know, nothing official has been announced yet for the Fortnite truck making an appearance at a regular event somewhere. During World Finals, we also got to see a teaser for Chapter 5, Season 3 of Fortnite. According to Twitter, Season 3 will feature at least one Monster Jam truck. On Saturday night, myself and the guys that were hanging out with me in the watch party on Discord speculated that the red lights in this sandstorm here are from Gravedigger's headlights. But the Fortnite community, they're not as big of Monster Truck fans as we are. They are pretty well convinced the lights are actually coming from a boat codenamed Sharkbait that sits ominously in the sandstorm and will wreak havoc on the map throughout the season. I don't know, guys. I can see what they're saying, but it sure looks a lot like Gravedigger to me. Honestly, with the boat having a shark theme, it kind of makes me wonder if Megalodon might be joining Gravedigger too. All I know is that if Monster Jam is coming to Fortnite, that's probably all the excuse in the world I need to get back into Fortnite. What do you guys think? Is that Gravedigger, or is it just a boat with suspicious looking headlights out in a sandstorm? Sandstorm? Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the heck does Fortnite have to do with Showdown? Well, let me tell you. As I mentioned, Epic Games is one of the distributors for the PC version of Showdown. Epic, of course, owns Fortnite, and if Monster Jam is entering into some kind of a partnership deal with Epic, there may be some exclusive Fortnite rewards for pre-ordering Showdown through the Epic Store. Nothing official has been announced, but these kinds of deals happen all the time, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if something like this is announced closer to launch. Where are we dropping, boys? I guess I'm going back into Fortnite. All right, in my last video, I actually missed a few TikToks that were on the official milestone account. The first one here is of Megalodon in the Alaska Circuit map, and as the race starts, we can see Meg behind Ice Cream Man and Sparkle Smash. We cut to a little bit later in the race, and we can see Raising Cane and Thunderoris in the lead, and I think way off to the right is Northern Nightmare. Thunderoris smashes into a snowbank, sending a spray of snow and ice all over everyone behind him. Cut to a later section of the track, and we see Northern Nightmare preparing to land off of a jump. Thunderoris behind him, and off to the left is Alien Invasion rounding the corner, coming in from another direction. Meg boosts off the ramp and launches himself ahead of Thunderoris, but we cut before he lands to another shot of Meg trailing Raising Cane. And you can clearly see the Ram logo on the tailgate. And I'll tell you, when the community saw this Ram logo, they all got really excited about a Dodge licensing deal leading to the inclusion of possibly Raminator and Ramunition. But like I said, this is a bit of an older clip, and in a moment I'm going to show you some newer clips that may dash those hopes to pieces. Sorry guys. A couple of half-second clips later, and we see the crew racing under the tunnel that we saw Zombie conk his head on in the first trailer breakdown video I did. And halfway through, it appears that Sparkle Smash loses her unicorn horn to the low clearance of the ceiling as well. But after zooming and enhancing, I realized that it's actually both her mane and her horn that fall off after getting a bump from behind by Raising Cane. Not to kick a dead horse, but honestly, pieces like this shouldn't be falling off from getting small bumps while racing. But hey, it's old footage, it's a work in progress. I'm sure that they're working on changing these kinds of things. These are the kinds of things that they're tweaking right now as they're preparing for release. A couple more quick cuts later, we see Meg slamming into the Monster Jam stunt truck, which is looking fantastic. So much better than the boring gray truck in Steel Titans. Cut to a first-person perspective of Meg hitting the main ramp again, and you can see a few of the AI opponents wipe out on landing before another quick cut to the racers rounding a corner, and we get to see a pretty decent view of Alien Invasion. Cut to another first-person view behind Sparkle Smash, minus his mane and tail. Maybe the inflatables pop. Ooh, did I say that out loud? And one more cut to Meg rounding a corner behind Ice Cream Man and the stunt truck. All right, so this clip is just lots and lots of super quick cuts of the same track and racers. And honestly, truly, the outdoor races look spectacular. All right, one more TikTok clip. This time we're in the Death Valley circuit race, and we see that all of the AI opponents are exactly the same. The only difference is that we've swapped the player truck from Megalodon to Zombie. Not much to see in the first few clips, but I would like to point out the suspension physics actually look great. The body moves exactly how you would expect it to as it rounds the corner, and especially as Zombie hits the apex of this jump, you can see the suspension expand below him and then compress completely as he lands. You also get to see the Zombie arms bounce naturally after landing. Just a couple of minor complaints, I know. The tires seem very rigid. Like, if the suspension is compressing that hard on landing, you would expect the tires to compress a little bit as well. They stay exactly the same shape, which takes away from the realism. Also, while the arms bounce naturally, the truck itself doesn't. You would expect some kind of rebound after a hard hit like that. Also, this is just an observation, but out of all of the clips that we've seen, very few of them actually show trucks landing after a jump. And honestly, the reason for that might be because they're still working on the landing physics to get it looking just right. They don't want people like me criticizing them for something they're still working on. I get it. All right, the last bit of new content released this week is a series of absolutely gorgeous looking screenshots, which I know I've already made this request, but I'm gonna ask it again anyway. Milestone, if you're watching, please give us the tools to make awesome screen grabs like these in-game. These shots are just so fantastic, and I really look forward to making some killer thumbnails with this game. All right, first up, we've got Thunderoris getting ready to fly off of a ramp. This is the Death Valley biome, and I really love the lighting, which, to amend my previous request, I'd really like to be able to change the weather and the time of day to change the lighting sliding around a little bit. Next, we have El Toro Loco tearing up the field in Colorado. The environment here looks superb. The trees, the grass, even the mud on El Toro's side panels all look beautiful. Next up is Gravedigger smashing through what is apparently an exploding destructible in Alaska. It's a nice looking shot, but not my favorite. And I think the reason is this frost effect on the truck. I'm not a big fan of it. And you can really see what I mean in this next shot of Luca's stabilizer doing a bicycle. The frost effect kind of makes the paint job look like it's been scratched up and dulled. It doesn't say cold to me. It says old and neglected. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Next, we have Higher Education and Racing Cane racing down a track. Okay, now listen, guys. I've seen some people point out on the official ToucanPlays Discord server that the Higher Education chassis actually looks just like the real-life Higher Education chassis. I'm not really experienced enough with chassis details to know the difference, but my understanding from my contact who supposedly knows people who work at Milestone, they are actually working on including different chassis in the game, including the Tom Meents, Willman chassis with the front engines, CRC, Team Scream chassis for Avenger and Brutus, and some PEI chassis as well, so for some of the older trucks. Now, whether or not the chassis design will have any actual impact on gameplay, that's another question. And to be quite honest, I highly doubt that they're going to have separate physics running for the different chassis, but it's nice that they're actually doing their best to keep the chassis accurate to the truck and the time period in which they ran. Okay, one more Alaska pick before I move on to warmer climates. This one is of Gravedigger racing around a corner against the stunt truck. And again, you can really see that frost effect making the paint jobs look kind of dull. I really don't even have a solution for that other than just being able to turn it off completely. I don't know. I just don't like it. Maybe it's just me. What do you guys think about it? Next, we have El Toro Loco steaming it up in the mud and the rain. The lighting effects here are fantastic. You can see the light from the arrows reflecting off of the tire, the suspension, the body of the truck. And if you look closely, you can see the seam and rivets holding the fiberglass body into place, just like on the real truck. Excellent attention to detail, guys. Next, we have a shot of Dragon, Thunderosaurus, and Ice Cream Man tearing it up in the desert. And unfortunately, in this shot, we can see that the Ram logo has been removed from Ice Cream Man, which means that either they weren't able to secure a sponsorship with Dodge or it was never meant to be there in the first place. And yes, that means that likely Ramunition and Ramunator will not be making an appearance in Showdown. Hey, but you never know. Keep up the faith. Last but not least, we have Max D squaring it off against Thunderosaurus in Death Valley. And again, here the graphics are superior. The dust, the rocks being kicked up, the lighting from the sunset, the crowd up on the ridge, it all adds to the immersiveness, and I'm all here for it. All right, guys, that is all I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching. I sure do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Check out the video that you see on your screen right now. And hey, we'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye, everybody.